Welcome to the Musar HaTorah podcast for Parshas Mishpatim. Join us as we explore the weekly Parsha, uncovering valuable insights and striving to become the best versions of ourselves through Musar teachings. Among the many legal provisions in this week's Parsha, there is one that seems almost too counterintuitive to be practical. The Torah states briefly and unemphatically, Ki sira chamor sa'anecha rovetz tachas ma'aso v'chaldalta ma'azov lo azov ta'azov imo. If you see your enemy's donkey sagging under its burden, you shall not pass by. You shall surely release it with him. This is Shemos Perek Chaf Gimel Pasuk Hey. Wait a moment. Your enemy? The Torah is commanding us to stop what we are doing and help someone who actively dislikes us? Someone we have real grievances against? This isn't just about being nice to difficult people. The Torah explicitly uses the word sonecha, your enemy. What is the Torah teaching us here, and why does this particular mitzvah matter so much? Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, Zecher Levracha, in his commentary on this parsha, points out something remarkable about this command. The Torah doesn't pretend that we won't have enemies. It doesn't say, love everyone equally, or you shouldn't have any enemies. Instead, it acknowledges the reality of human relationships. Sometimes there are people who genuinely antagonize us, who have wronged us, who we find deeply frustrating or even hurtful. Rabbi Sacks emphasizes that the Torah is remarkably realistic rather than utopian about human nature. It doesn't demand that we achieve some impossible emotional state. It does demand that we take specific action. When your enemy is in trouble, you must come to their assistance. There is more to this law than meets the eye. Let's look at a parallel pasuk in Devarim that helps us understand the full picture. Lo sira es chamor achicha o shoro noflim bederech v'hisalamta mehem hakim takim imo. You shall not see your brother's donkey or his ox falling under its load in the road and hide yourself from it. You shall lift it up with him. This is Devarim Perek Chaf Beis Pasuk Daled. Notice the difference? In Shemos, the Torah talks about your enemy. In Devarim, it talks about your brother, your friend. Both need help with their overloaded animals. Both are in the same predicament. Which one takes priority? The Gemara in Bava Metzia asks exactly this question, and the answer is stunning. If both your friend and your enemy need help at the same time, you should help your enemy first. Why? Kedei lechovesh es yitzro, in order to suppress your evil inclination. Think about what the Gemara is teaching us here. Both people equally need assistance. The animal is suffering either way. When it comes to your enemy, there's something else at stake beyond just the immediate practical need. There is an opportunity for profound internal work, a chance to overcome the hatred and distance you feel, to transcend your natural inclinations, to break through the barriers that separate human beings from one another. Helping a friend feels good. It's natural. It's easy. But helping an enemy? That requires us to dig deep, to overcome our Yetzer Hara, to actively work against our most entrenched negative feelings. That internal transformation is so valuable that it takes precedence. However, the Torah's language hints at something even deeper. The phrase azov ta'azov, you shall surely release, seems to emphasize the act of releasing, and the Aramaic translation, particularly Targum Yonasan, pick up on this. The pasuk isn't just talking about releasing the physical burden from the animal, it's talking about releasing the psychological burden, the burden of hatred from your own heart. When you see your enemy struggling and you stop to help, something profound happens inside you. You begin to let go of the hate you've been carrying. That weight you've been bearing, the grudge, the resentment, the animosity starts to dissolve. This is transformative Musar work. The Torah is teaching us that acts of chesed toward those who have wronged us don't just help them, they help us, they heal us. There's one more fascinating detail in this mitzvah that Rabbi Sacks explores. The Torah says, Azov ta'azov imo, you shall release it with him. From this, our Chachamim derive a remarkable halacha. If the owner of the animal simply sits down and says, the obligation is yours, if you want to unload the animal, go ahead, then you are actually exempt from helping. Why? Because the Torah says, imo, with him, meaning both must participate in the work. Rabbi Sacks explains that the biblical morality isn't just about individual perfection, it's about building a healthy society. We owe duties to those who recognize the concept of duty. If someone refuses to take responsibility for their own obligations, helping them only reinforces the problem. The only exception, if the owner is elderly or infirm and genuinely cannot help, then we must help on our own. Here is the practical challenge for this week. Identify someone in your life, with whom you have tension, someone you find difficult, someone who's wronged you, someone you tend to avoid. Now, look for an opportunity to help them this week. When you help them, pay attention to what happens inside you. Notice if the act of helping begins to soften your feelings toward them. The goal isn't to become best friends overnight. It's to take one small action that begins to dissolve the barrier between you and, in the process, to work on suppressing your Yetzer Hara. As Rabbi Sacks teaches, when we act with chesed toward those who have wronged us, something shifts. Part of the hatred dissipates. Who knows whether the help given today might not transform hostility into gratitude, and from there, eventually, to friendship. The mitzvah to help our enemy's overburdened animal reveals something profound about the Torah's approach to human relationships and character development. The Torah doesn't just expect us to achieve an impossible emotional state where we have no enemies and feel love toward everyone equally. Instead, it gives us concrete actions that can gradually transform our hearts. When we help those who have wronged us, we accomplish multiple things simultaneously. We relieve immediate suffering, we work on suppressing our evil inclination, and we begin the process of releasing the hatred from our own hearts. We might even plant the seeds that could eventually turn an enemy into a friend. The Mishnah in Avos de Rabbi Nassan asks, who is a hero? And the answer is, one who turns an enemy into a friend. This is heroic work, not the kind that gets recognized with medals or public acclaim, but the kind that genuinely transforms both ourselves and our society. It's the work of taking realistic Torah wisdom about human nature and applying it to our actual relationships, with all their complications and difficulties. As we go through this week, may we find the courage to help those we find difficult. May we work on suppressing our Yetzer Hara, and may we experience the inner feelings that come from releasing the burdens of hatred and resentment we have been carrying. Have a good Shabbos.